This is a lava bomb. It occurs when hot lava erupts out of a volcano in chunks. Since lava or volcanic bombs can change shape during flight, it's hard to know where they will land. The first reported injury from the eruption of the Kilauea Volcano in Hawaii was caused by a lava bomb hitting a man in the leg.
The railing had been smashed. It was about a 12-pound rock, had glanced off the railing and obviously hit him.
The Kilauea Volcano eruption has wreaked havoc across Hawaii's Big Island. And lava bombs aren't the only hazard residents need to be concerned with. As the lava from the volcano begins to flow into the ocean, it has set off a chemical reaction, creating laze, or lava haze. When the lava interacts with seawater, it creates dense, white clouds of steam made of toxic gas and tiny shards of volcanic glass. The clouds contain hydrochloric acid, which is about as corrosive as a diluted battery and can irritate the skin and eyes and cause breathing problems.
Some could not breathe, and it was from the fog.
Fog, or volcanic smog, is also a dangerous mixture of particles from the volcano. This happens when sulfur dioxide and other gases emitted by an erupting volcano react with oxygen and moisture in the presence of sunlight.
Actively exploding 24 hours a day, there's no sign when the fissures will stop.
These are fissures. They are cracks or fractures in the ground around the volcano that lava then erupts from. Occasionally, lava will flow back into the ground by pouring into a crack or an open eruptive fissure.
You can feel the heat coming from the ground.
Fissures are found in rift zones. The rock becomes so weak and cracked, it makes it easier for magma to reach the surface.
There's no definite end to this that we can tell right now.
Hawaii's volcano emergency enters its fourth week tomorrow with a possibility of a major eruption at any moment. Explosive bursts of lava, steam, and ash continue tonight as homes and a geothermal electrical plant are threatened. Mark Strassman is on the Big Island.
This is Leilani Estates, overwhelmed by a river of molten misery. Lava has burned and buried more than a dozen homes here. 1,700 people fled. Some returned to broken homes and hearts. Imagine this giant crack running under your house. Active fissures push out new lava every day. Most of it flows into the Pacific Ocean away from people. But some lava menace this geothermal plant. Workers stabilized 11 wells to prevent the release of uncontrolled toxic gases. Officials now call the plant essentially safe, but many residents remain skeptical.
I feel we were lied to. We were told things were taken care of, and then we find out, no, they were not taken care of.
And one of the world's most active volcanoes shows no sign of quieting down. USGS geologist Steve Brantley.
Based on the geologic history of the volcano, the current fissure activity could actually become a little bit larger.
This is the northeast edge of Leilani Estates. Behind me, you see one of 4 active fissures here, pumping nonstop and creating an enormous lake of lava in the middle. The heat on my back is intense. Jeff, one more thing. That geothermal plant that has been such a concern here is a half mile in that direction.
Wow, it looks like a scene out of a movie. It is not. Mark Strassman, again for us from Hawaii. Thank you.
Well, there is a new danger from the volcano erupting on Hawaii's Big Island today. Lava flowing into the ocean is creating a cloud of toxic fumes. Molten rock combines with seawater to form something called laze. Now, they contain hydrochloric acid and tiny particles of glass. Anyone near it can suffer irritation in their lungs and have problems breathing. Scott McLean is a reporter with CNN, and he is in Hawaii, joins me now. So, Scott, an incredible scene right behind you. Give me a sense of what's going on in that area.
Yeah, hey Natasha, we really have a great vantage point to see the big picture here in Hawaii. Let me show you what we're seeing. So all of this lava that we're talking about in the lower rift zone is coming, at least from where we are, from this big fissure. This is actually 5 fissures combined into one. It looks like a giant out of control fire hose. You can see the lava going, probably 20, 30 meters into the air. And then all of that has to go somewhere. So it's sort of cascading down into these lava flows that eventually reach the ocean. And all of this dark stuff that you see here, this is lava that was flowing just a few days ago. In fact, if you go about 50 meters or so in from the edge, from where the brush there meets that lava, that dried up lava, that's where we were doing our live shots reporting just 3-4 days ago. So you get a sense of how quickly this moves. Now, if you look over by the horizon, that white smoke there, that's the laze that you were talking about. There's 2 entry points where the lava is actually entering the Pacific Ocean, and as you said, it creates this really nasty mix of hydrochloric acid, steam, and then those tiny particles of glass, and so it can be really, really dangerous. And so obviously authorities, they've closed roads in that area. They want to keep people away because of that exactly. And I want to show you one other thing as well, and it's this other fissure that really looks like a giant sparkler. It's harder to see during the day, but you still get a sense. Look at the hill right beside it. That is all lava that has come out of the ground and created this hill. So we've been watching this now for the past 8 days or so. You get a sense of just how much lava has actually come out. And then every so often, you can't hear it now, but you will hear these, again, you can hear the earth sort of breathing there, but every so often you will hear these really violent, loud explosions. And just to give you a sense of how violent those are and how dangerous, we spoke to a woman over the weekend who lives maybe half a kilometer or so from where this fissure is going off, and her windows had actually been blown out, 2 of them, by the sheer force of this. And so if people are not moved by the lava, this woman obviously had to move out of her house for safety. Well, then people, they're moving because of the gas, the sulfur dioxide, that really pungent rotten egg smell. It can actually be really dangerous. And so a lot of people are leaving when the winds shift and they're getting that sulfur dioxide because you just don't want to be breathing it in. It is generally not good for you. It might not leave lifelong lasting effects, but it can be potentially deadly if you're trapped in an area where the concentrations are really high. And one other thing that I should point out, and this is a bit of positive news here, is that at the summit of Kilauea, so that's about 20 miles or so away from where we are, and the explosions there that are creating those massive ash clouds that you've, I'm sure, seen photos of. Again, there's one of those explosions. You get a sense of just how loud that is. It is startling every time. But those explosions at the summit, at least though, Natasha, they've become less frequent and less powerful. The problem, though, is that there's the potential that, you know, there's pressure building up for an even bigger explosion down the road, but we just don't know.
Scott, I have to ask you about that explosion. Did you feel that when it was happening? It's startling from time to time. That was one of the louder ones, but some of the smaller ones, we've been watching this for so long, you don't even really notice. You kind of become immune to it, but the impact of those is so strong, and it's not like it happens, once an hour or once a day. They're happening, once every minute or two. So for us standing here, you kind of get used to them, but even still, some of the louder ones really kind of catch you off guard. Yeah, it certainly caught us off guard. Okay, so finally, I just want to ask you about what the officials are telling people who are on the Big Island that are dealing with explosions like that.
Yeah, so what surprised me the most is that there is sort of this evacuation area, but it's not being very heavily enforced. If you want to stay in your home, you can. That said, a lot of people are leaving as a precaution, but for instance, the deck that I'm on right now, we're maybe a mile away from this giant fissure that is spewing lava. We're, maybe just about a half a kilometer from this lava field. No one here has left. No one here has plans to leave. Of course, there could be other fissures that open up in this area, but people here, they're content to take their chances. I've heard a lot of people say, look, just sort of the attitude around here. They're not going to leave until they're really forced to go, not by officials necessarily, but by Mother Nature.
CNN's reporter Scott McLean on Hawaii's Big Island. Thank you so much for your time.